guys, this is Azerlin with a quick review of I Am Setsuna. I Am Setsuna is an excellent JRPG with a superb story and terrific character development. The story is about a girl on her journey to be sacrificed to save the rest of the world from monsters. It's a grim tale full of hope and sorrow, and you can tell that a lot of time and effort went into creating it. The character development is fantastic. The characters are adorable, and they each have their own unique personality with their own perspective of the world. The characters feel real, and their actions feel genuine. The entire story is told through character conversations, and you're often given a choice about how to react. But the choice is merely an illusion, and the outcome will be the same regardless of what you decide. I really like this story. It's very interesting, and even though there were a lot of predictable parts, I kept wanting to continue playing to find out more. Once I started playing it, I just didn't want to stop, and I actually stayed up all night playing until I finished it. The story is truly brought to life, with the beautiful piano soundtrack and the lovely visuals. The music fits so appropriately with what's going on in the game, and the game looks gorgeous. I love the snowy environments, and the added detail with the snow falling, and the paths that each character makes in the snow as they move looks great. When I first started playing the game, I couldn't get my Xbox One controller working properly, so I wound up using the keyboard instead. You can only look at and edit your key bindings before launching the game, so it is inconvenient if you forget what the bindings were or if you want to change them while you're playing. Another small gripe that I have about the game is that you can't save everywhere. You can only save the game in specific save points that you find, or in some areas of the larger map when you're traveling between towns. The game has a lot of combat, and all of the combat uses an active time battle format, where the characters attack at different speeds, and you can use this timing to plan out your attacks more effectively. I like that you can see the time progress until your attacks are ready, but I do kind of wish that the enemy attacks showed up as well. I also really like the momentum feature during combat. As you take damage and use your abilities, you gain momentum, which allows you to trigger a momentum boost during combat that gives your abilities an added effect. Using these boosts made combat more exciting, and using them correctly really increased the combat effectiveness. There are a good amount of creatures that you'll encounter, but several of them seem to just be stronger, reskinned versions of the same enemies that you encountered earlier in the game. As you defeat monsters, your active party characters gain XP and level up. Your party can only have 3 characters at a time, but you can change them whenever as long as you aren't in combat. Each character has its own weapon type and special class-only spells, and there are tons of different spells. So there is a good amount of flexibility in how you go about building your party and your character loadout. All of the spells are purchased using various loot drops. You earn these loot drops based on how you kill monsters. And I think it's neat that you're encouraged to vary the actions that you take in order to kill the enemies to get different loot. Early on in the game, it does cost a good amount of gold to keep up on purchases. But as the game progresses, you're able to finish mobs with a variety of attacks, so you'll have a lot more gold than you know what to do with. Purchasing consumables and upgrading your items is an absolute must, especially for some of the boss fights, which felt a bit like they were a gear or level check. I did get stuck on a couple of the bosses, and I had to backtrack to buy better gear and a lot more consumables. The worst part about dying during the boss fights is that you have to sit through all of the character dialogue before trying the fight again, and it does take a while between attempts. I would have liked to have just been able to completely skip the dialogue with one key press, or maybe just had it autosave right at the start of the fight. Overall, the combat is enjoyable, and the leveling process feels like it's paced nicely. Some people might find the combat repetitive, but as you get a better arsenal, the fights become quicker, and personally, I never got sick of the combat. The boss fights were interesting, and some of them certainly felt like an accomplishment once I finally beat them. There are quite a few achievements and several locations that you can visit that aren't part of the main story, so there's definitely a lot that you can do if you're up to it. It took me about 18 hours to finish the game, but I did get stuck for at least 4 hours wiping to a couple different bosses. The game takes itself very seriously, but it has a lot of heart, and it's a great game overall. The price tag on the game may seem a bit expensive at first glance, but I have zero regrets about this purchase. I definitely recommend it to those who are looking for a solid JRPG experience. I hope this review has helped you. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and post your feedback in the comments below. Thanks everyone, and have a wonderful day!